Good day, YouTube. Today I want to talk about some of my pet peeves and dislikes about Baldur's Gate 3. Don't get me wrong, I actually love the game. If you just search through YouTube and Google, you will see accolades after accolades about this game, how great it is, and deservingly so. I also think that this game has a great shout out for Game of the Year 2023, but no game is perfect, and today I just want to throw a reverse Uno card into the mix and just talk about some of the things that I wish were done a little bit better. 5 points altogether. Let us dive in very quickly. Point number 1, I wish the camera system of this game is a little bit better. Most of the problem lies with the fact that you cannot look up when you are supposed to. I think games like Elder Scrolls Online actually have much better camera work so that you can actually zoom in and out and appreciate how epic the situation is, both from the POV as well as from the group perspective. Let me give an example of how frustrating the camera can be in Baldur's Gate 3, right? In the final fight on top of the Nether Brain, the Mind Flayers are just shooting magic missiles at you, and if they can do the same, rightfully you should be able to return the favor. But unfortunately, because of the lack of ability to look up, half the time my players cannot target the Mind Flayer and we cannot look up and see where the Mind Flayer is to throw magic missiles back at them. The tactical button O to look from the bird's eye view did not help much either, because what happened is that the camera went zoom in when what I needed was the camera to zoom out to be able to see more of the battlefield. So that's the first point, right? I wish the camera play could be a little bit better, particularly in combat situations. Okay, on to point number 2, the level cap. Now the developers have come forward to explain the logic and the rationale behind why there is a level cap of 12 for this game is because if you advance and become too powerful, the mechanics of the fights against certain bosses become meaningless. And I do take that point on board, right? Because you want to go through the nature of the battle in which the programmers wish for you to go through to appreciate how tough some of these antagonists are. Unfortunately, this game sells itself as the game that allows players to do anything that we want to do. And one of those things that we really want to do is to be this OP messiah and basically just cream through all the antagonists and swat them away like flies to become the godlike entities that we are. So I would suggest that actually the level cap be taken away once you complete your first playthrough, so you get the experience that Larian Studios want you to go through, and then subsequently you get access to all the OP spells. Imagine as a sorcerer you can cast Time Stop, Mass Haste, Modern Chaos Sword, and then you just go through and then you swat Gotesh, Orin and the dragon aside like the feeble enemies that they are. How much fun would that be, right? I remember in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 the same level cap applied, but back then there was a hack game editor for us to actually be able to redistribute our stats and to change the level of our characters so that I remember I could even take down Drizzt back then. So that's what RPG is all about, right? To do some of the silliest and cheesiest things that we normally couldn't do. So yeah, this is a restraint that's unfortunate, and I'm hoping maybe there is a mod out there existing or soon to come that can address this. Okay, speaking about mods, right? There is a mod out there that allow us to breach the party size cap to 8 instead of 4, and this brings me to point number 3. Party size of 4 just doesn't quite hit the spot for me. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 allow us to play up to 6 party members, and I recall the same thing goes for Icewind Dale. It's only when BioWare started to do things in the 3D format in Neverwinter's Night that is when the party size get reduced to 4, and it has been so ever since through Dragon Age, and now Baldur's Gate it's been down to a party size of 4 instead of 6, and I wish I could have more members at my disposal. It just makes combat easier, and it makes the banter and everything within the party a lot more interesting, right? That could be due to programming constraints or combat mechanics constraints, I guess, which is why we are stuck with 4, but I will probably be trying out the mod soon so that I can go 8 members and have a bit of fun with them, right? Okay, on to the next point, inventory management. I don't recall inventory management to be such a pain in the ass for Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, but for Baldur's Gate 3 itself it's just so clunky, and there's a lot of movement of things around, in particular to having to switch party members and asking them to stay behind while I get another new party member in to be part of the crew. it used to be a lot easier in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. You just speak to the person and you can make that change, right? But now you have to go to the campsite. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if there's some easier way to do this. Drop it in the comments below. But for now, I believe the only way to change your party members is to go to the campsite, speak to them, go through the dialogue, and then after that, yeah. And if you forget to switch out some of the inventory items of the players whom you have retired, then good luck to you. You have to go and get him back again and do all the necessary adjustments. So that's a little bit of a hassle, and I wish there was an easier way to get all this done, right? And if there is, again, I may be wrong on this, if there is an easier way to get all this done, do drop it in the comments, educate me. Thank you. Now for the very last point, it's actually on the combat system of Baldur's Gate 3, which is the turn-based combat system. I think Larian Studios want to adopt this for various reasons, one of which perhaps is to respect and adhere to the original spirit of the D&D table and talk game. But on hindsight, having finished through my first playthrough with the game, I would say that I still prefer the hybrid system that Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 adopted. It hit the sweet spot somehow. I'm able to cast web, entanglement, grease, and fireball, and watch all of them execute simultaneously and majestically take out a whole room of mind flayers. I cannot repeat this experience in Baldur's Gate 3. The problem with turn-based combat is that it takes forever for your enemies to finish their turns, especially when you're in a fight like the one in the Shah Temple and the Cazador Vampire Palace arc, where there are many NPCs running around and you gotta wait till kingdoms come for the enemy to finish their turn before your guys can go again. So yeah, it calls for patience, right? And overall, I think I like that action, hybrid, tactical kind of approach to combat in BG1 and 2. I kind of wish they never changed that for whatever reason that it is, but yeah, like what they said, it is what it is. It's not that it's bad or flawed or broken, it's just that personally I prefer the old system. That's about it. So I think that's it for today. Drop in the comments if you have any pet peeves of your own, anything that you wish the game could do better. Yeah, let's just share it and see what the community has to say. Alright, good day to everybody. See you.